Hi, my name is Lee, and today we hit 10 books in my TBR Jar challenge. 10! That's right, my friends. I read The Goose Girl by Shannon Hale. It was really good. No, I don't own it. I can't find it. I don't have any record of ever buying this book. But I read it, and it was really good, and now I wish I did own it. Goose Girl by Shannon Hale is a fairy tale retelling of the Goose Girl. This is a German fairy tale. I'm pretty sure it's in a Grimm's collection, and Andrew Lang collected it somewhere or other. But this book is about a princess named Annie, and she is supposed to be queen of her country, but because she's kind of weird, she can talk to animals, and she cares more about animals than people, and so her mother, the queen, decides that she should not be the next queen. Decides instead to get her married to another kingdom as, political stuff, Ani goes off to this other kingdom to get married in a political alliance with a bunch of her guards and then her maid. And her maid has the gift of people speaking, so whatever she says, people just believe her. And so her maid talks half the guards into allying with her, and they stage a mutiny. Ani barely escapes with her life, and then she finds herself in this kingdom where she's supposed to become the wife of the prince or whatever, and she can't because her maid has now taken her place. And no one will believe her because her maid has the gift of people speaking, and Ani has the gift of animal speaking. So it's just, it's so interesting and it's so good, and I think that Shannon Hale kind of adding the whole people speaking versus animal speaking aspect to the story is really what sells it. But it also, Ani is such a great character. This might sound weird, but I think Shannon Hale is just really good at writing weak female characters. I know we're always talking about needing more strong female representation in characters in media and books and film. But Shannon Hale is really good at making these women or girls who really don't know anything at the start of a story and then grow throughout the story. I've read Austenland and the Princess Academy books by Shannon Hale, and Miri in the Princess Academy book starts off as this goat herder girl who has to go to this academy and learns how to read and learns about politics throughout this school, and because of these characters kind of starting at this very low point of how strong they are, they really do grow and change and become better people throughout these stories. And I think Shannon Hale is just so good at doing this. And Austenland is a little bit less than that, but even Austenland has some of that where it's these are women who do get tricked and they do get manipulated at different points of the stories, and lots of stuff is out of their power, but they're still very active heroines in their own right, and Shannon Hale's just really good at this. I highly recommend this book. I'm very excited about the next book, which is called Enna Burning, and I'm kind of I'm bummed to be starting another fantasy series. This is the Books of Bayern. I have so many fantasy series right now, and I need to be finishing them, so I don't think I'm going to get to Enna Burning for a little while. But this was a really good book. It's a solid fairy tale retelling where Shannon Hale obviously did the research of what the fairy tale is. The Goose Girl is really close to the fairy tale too, which sometimes the fairy tale retellings can be a positive and sometimes it can be a negative. In this case, I think it's positive because, firstly, a lot of people don't know the fairy tale of the Goose Girl, in my opinion, or at least in my experience. She does add enough new things within this story that really just makes it really hit harder and work well, especially since this is, I think I referred to it earlier as being vaguely like Cinderella. I do wish that they had merged it with The Children of Lear. I talked about that in my last video, but they didn't. It's just straight Goose Girl. There's nothing else. And I am very curious whether the other books of Bayern are other fairy tale retellings or if they're all just now based continuations of this story. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited to see. But this was good. I recommend. So I started this series back at the start of my channel in 2019, and I started it talking about Prince and the Pauper. I then read The Island of Dr. Moreau. I read DNF'd, Love Finds You in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which was a Christian romance novel, and I was not into it, so I DNF'd it. I finished The Stars Like Dust, and I hated that book. Then I got the big one, Our Mutual Friend, which is really good, but it took me like a year to read, which is awful for a challenge, but really that's like most of the time has gone to that book. One specific book. It was good, it was worth it, it's very long. I feel like I'm missing a book when I'm talking about these. Then read Paris in the 20th Century by Jules Verne. I enjoyed this book, but I've now gotten rid of it. I don't own a few of these now that I've read them. That's just what happens when you read books that you own. Is you're like, oh, this was not as good as I was hoping it would be, or actually I don't like this book anymore, or whatever. And then I also read Pudd'nhead Wilson by Mark Twain. Oh, so good. I loved this book. This is probably one of my favorite books of this year. And then I read The Golden Dream of Carlo Cuccio by my favorite author, Lloyd Alexander. And now I just read The Goose Girl by Sharon Hale. And strangely enough, I've been rereading The Chronicles of Berdane, and Shannon Hale talks about reading the Book of Three and how it inspired The Goose Girl in the introduction of the Book of Three 50th Anniversary Edition that I have because I'm a nerd. Now, I started with 201 books in my TBR jar. Now it's like 192. I have read other books outside of the challenge itself, but I also have bought books that I have not read since starting this challenge. So I'm glad that it's less. It's like 10 books less, which works. But I wish it was lower. Anyway, my goal is to have like 100 books that I haven't read and not like 200. It's not that I don't ever want to have books that I haven't read on my shelves. It's more that I just feel like I have too many. I own about 500 books, and having 200-ish books that I haven't read is like a little bit too much. I'd rather have it be more like 20% of the books I own instead of whatever percentages is now. I'm a reader, not a mather. Let's talk about what we want next. So the last 2 times I've done this, I have gotten the exact opposite thing that I want. So this time I feel like I should say the opposite of what I want, so that way then I'll get it. Right now I'm reading way too many books at once. As I do, I keep going to the library and like picking up like 18 books like every week. So I have like huge stacks in my room of library books that I need to go through, figure out what I want to read, or just read them really fast. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So I kind of feel like I either want something really short that I can go through fast, or something really long that I can be like, okay, I'm going to space this out for a long time. But that might mean I don't have another TBR Jar video for months, and I don't like that idea. So I don't know. I don't really know. I'm scared this time because now I've done 10 of these, and I'm like, kind of getting, I like these videos. They're fun to make, and I like the challenge. Also, I guess it's this one. I also refilled this with some of the books I've recently bought with my different book hauls, and just in general, I've updated this. I also went at the beginning of this year and pulled out all the books that I've already read out of it, so it's fresh, and let's look. Double for Death by Rex Stout. Rex Stout is best known for writing the Nero Wolfe books, but he also had this trilogy called the Tecumseh Fox Mysteries. I've never read these. I don't know if they're going to be as good as the Nero Wolfe books. He wrote like 40-something Nero Wolfe books, and he only wrote 3 Tecumseh Fox books. I love the Nero Wolfe books. I've loved a bunch of Rex Stout books. So yeah, don't really know what this mystery one is about. I just love Rex Stout. I've bought out a lot of his books over the years, and I'm excited about this. Yay! So I will see you next time with a new video. I hope you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment talking about whether you've read the Goose Girl and whether you have read the Tecumseh Fox books. Otherwise, I will see you soon, and I hope you're having a lovely afternoon and are reading good books. Bye. Don't hit yourself in the face.